Welcome to the Blind at season 2, episode 1. We have got Mr. Jeff Jones with us tonight in the studio. We're going to hit the intro real quick, and when we come back, we're going to talk everything Shin with Mr. Jones. Cam, go ahead and hit it, buddy. Let's go. Season 2, episode 1. Well, episode 1 of season 2. Garrett Camp and Brian Bolt here with you on the Blind Waterfowl podcast, and our special guest tonight, Mr. Jeff Jones from Chene Gear. Mr. Jeff, how you doing tonight?
I'm good. I'm doing good. I'm glad to be here. Thank y'all for having me on
Well,
your
we
show.
we sure appreciate you. Sure appreciate you coming on tonight. I guess about a year ago we met you in person when we were up there last summer,
Yeah,
up there
right
getting
before
some
launch.
gear, and yeah,
Second
sure
launch,
was.
yeah. That's right.
And so everybody that doesn't know you, why don't you start off, just tell everybody a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and kind of how you got started in this endeavor.
Yeah. Uh, I originally from Texarkana. That's like y'all are. Grew up there. I lived there all through. My parents still live there. I mean, that's home for our generations of our family. My sister and me have both moved out, but Texarkana's always been home. Uh, Left there, went to college, and finished up in Central Arkansas, just north of Little Rock at UCA and Conway. And had a lot of fraternity brothers, had a lot of access to farms in East Arkansas and public land in East Arkansas, and that's kind of where I made home and where I stayed. And we still have a camp over there now. It's really kind of my second home, or Jesse, my wife, would say it's probably my first home. This
Yeah.
where I live being my second home, but not actually true. But that's a little bit about me. I mean, it's kind of where I'm from and where I went to school and growing up down there and all that. I've always kind of been I either lived just off the Arkansas line. My parents' house that is in Texarkana, it's on the Texas side. They live out on the Red River. State line's right behind their house, and now I live in Mississippi, and Mississippi River is not too far from our house here. So I've kind of always been right on the edge, one side or the other of Arkansas, and always had the camp over there where I've got it. Uh, I hadn't ventured too far. I say that I travel a lot, but I've always kind of kept home in this one area.
Yeah. Well, what about, did you ever make it over to Millwood and hunt any when you lived down
Oh
here?
yeah, all the time. I mean, I grew up at so my duck hunting life started in Texarkana. We used to hunt the Red River, which was right behind my parents' house. I hunted Millwood. I hunted what's that? Sulphur River, Mercer Bayou area.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would go to. We have a whole lot of family. We have a really large family. I have a lot of family that's outside of Hope, Arkansas, on
Okay.
the Arkansas side, Southwest Arkansas. So we would hunt at Bodark. Grew up. That's kind of our first flooded timber experience. We hunted it. I actually talk about Millwood. I hunted Millwood. Oh man, it has been so long ago. But I hunted Millwood when we used to be able to have floating blinds on
Yeah.
it. We would have floating blind. It kind of floated on barrels and stuff. You could pull a boat up under it, hunt out of it. And at times, Millwood, of course, when I was a kid, everything was amazing when you were duck hunting. But at times, man, Millwood was phenomenal. I can
Mhm.
remember And it was kind of cool too because my grandparents, my granddad, and my grandmother, they always had a little trailer, a fishing camp at Millwood at Yarborough Landing is where
Yeah.
that was.
Yeah.
So once school got out, and once kind of
Will, I
we were
think we
through.
lost you for a second.
Oh, am I back?
You're back.
I think
Okay,
we
I'm
lost.
sorry
I
about
think
that.
we. I think we lost you, Garrett. We didn't.
Oh,
Jeff and I were
Uh,
still here.
I'm
all
back.
right, I was about to say I found. Anyway, so my grandparents had this place on Yarborough Landing, and we crappie fished all spring, all summer, and then when you got going back to school, whenever we would come back home. But to my dad's dismay, I spent all summer with my granddad at Millwood crappie fishing and all that, and then in the fall we'd go back and duck hunt quite a bit at Millwood.
Yeah,
It's been a
Millwood
long time.
it holds a special place in Brian and I's heart. We still hunt it a little bit, and we still have some
Oh,
really good hunts out there at times. So the hunting is not bad, even now. But all those blinds you speak of are all upside down. So every now and then we see an upside down barrel, and now we know what it is.
yeah. Millwood, man, it was a great place. I have such fond memories of Millwood. I'm sure it's all changed, and of course it's different now. I hadn't been there in years, but I'd like to see it again. I like
Well,
for my
Jeff,
kids to see
you
it.
still do a lot of public hunting, though, don't you?
Yeah, no, that's all. It's unless I get an invite, and honestly, I rarely go with anybody. My partner Jeff Farmer in Chin, he has white oaks. I go with him. I mean that's an invitation
Yeah,
you
you
don't
don't turn that
turn down.
down. No.
So I'll go with him as much as I can. I really enjoy hunting with him. He's a really good dude, and the place he has is phenomenal. But other than that, 99% of my hunting is on public. I hunt the White River Refuge. Uh, I got my camp over there in 98 or 99, I think. Right, that kind of that 98, 99 season was the first year I had the camp. Uh, I kept it until it flooded in 2011, and then we tore it out and I rebuilt. I've been in the same spot on the White River Refuge since not that 98, 99 season. I love it. That's home to me. That the
Yeah.
public woods of East Arkansas, the White River Refuge is home to me. That's where I want to hunt. If anybody said, "Hey, you go hunt tomorrow, you go hunt anywhere in the world," I'm going there. That is where I'm going to go.
Yeah.
I
Well,
love
to
it.
me, there's something special about public hunting. We hunt private some too, but something about a public hunt when your hole wasn't drawn for you or you don't know exactly where you're going, you kind of have to figure things out. And there's
That's right.
something about that figuring things out. And when you do kill that limit, it's just a little extra satisfaction, I feel like, that comes with that.
Yeah, it's magical. It really is. It is. It is a magical place, and the way it happens, and everything. Because honestly, from the moment you wake up, everything is against you. Everything can go wrong in a public duck hunting situation. Uh, we all know what they are. It's other people. Are the birds there? It's the water. It's the boat. Everything can happen,
Yeah.
and when you pull it off, man, it's phenomenal. But a lot changes, and all through the '90s, early '90s, and late '90s, and early 2000s. I hate to say it this way. I'm not trying to be arrogant or cocky, but like you never didn't kill ducks.
Yeah.
You killed ducks. If you didn't, it was because of something you did. Either you were
Right.
late, or you missed, or you were not paying attention, or you just did something. Like we always had ducks in those woods. Now it's different. We don't always have ducks in the woods. We don't always have them in the spots that we want to be. It is a constant hunt and search for them now. Used to early '90s, mid '90s, late '90s, early 2000s, you just went out there and found a spot and had an opening. You started kicking water and calling, you could kill your ducks, and it's not that way anymore. You have to scout them. You have to scout your holes. There's a lot to it, and I like that. I like the challenge of figuring it out.
Right.
Yeah.
I do.
Right.
I
Well, I guess
really do.
We're not living in the good old days anymore, huh?
Man, it's not honestly, none of us really are, and it's for a multitude of reasons. I'm not blaming anything. I'm fine being dealt the hand that I'm dealt. I like the public land, and I like the challenge behind it, and I like how much it changes. But it's certainly different. Back in the day, man, you just went out there and found an opening and started kicking water and calling, and you could kill them, and it's not that way anymore.
Well, and you being from
still
Texarkana,
fun.
you being from Texarkana, you probably know where Garland City and Louisville is, and you know, that's where I grew up hunting, was in Garland City. And I tell Garrett, you know, duck hunting's kind of like country music. You know, once you got past the 90s, it just started getting worse. And so, you know,
amen, brother.
Yeah.
But I mean, when I was growing up over there in the 90s, you know, I mean, you're almost right. I mean, that's what it was. I mean, if you could show up and not just blow it yourself, I mean, if you were just a halfway decent hunter, you killed ducks. I mean, you know, you just show up and not do anything too crazy, and you could kill them. But it's not necessarily like that anymore.
No, and I respect a lot of the younger guys now, and I say I'm younger. I mean, I'm 48, it's 49, and you know, there's kids out. I saw them kids. I apologize, but there's 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds out there now that are hunting public tender and those public woods. And those guys, they work hard, man. They really do. They scout and they stay on top of ducks, and they know how to hunt, and they know how to work birds in, and they know how to deal with the other public pressure that goes on. And there are a lot of good hunters out there today.
Yeah.
They don't have, like, I kind of say people will ask all the time, and I'll tell them, I'm straight up a 90s model duck hunter. That's kind of what I refer to myself as. The 90s are when I went to college. It's when I hit my peak and my prime, and I was going and all that. I'm a kind of a 90s model. And back then, honestly, it was a lot easier. And it's not as easy now. And when you have guys that are consistently killing ducks on public land because they're putting in the work and they're learning and they're doing, hats off to them. Now, the older side of me, I can come out and say they got it easier now. there wasn't there was no
technology.
Yeah, there was no Onyx. There was no Google Maps. There was, you know, GPS.
There was no Chene Gear waiter. We didn't have those, did we?
Right. You know, GPS kind of came around later. I had to learn the woods. Luckily, I had an older individual that was over there, and he kind of took me under his wing, and he taught me the woods, taught me the holes, and most importantly, taught me how to get around. Because on the White River, you know, we say it all the time, you live for 26 feet. You live for 26 and a half feet, because that puts water and you can kind of go anywhere and get around and do what you want to do. You know, that's the clue. That's the key to it all. It's 26 and a half feet. I can kind of hunt shin deep to waist deep water. But you might learn about a hole, or you might see a hole on Onyx or on Google Maps, and it's like, I'm going to go hunt there tomorrow. Well, pard, good luck getting there, because you can't get there. So, you know, that's been kind of the fun. That's really what I kind of enjoy, is, you know, figuring the woods out and figuring out, you know, like, I want to go hunt this hole. This hole has to be 25.8 feet for me to get in there. But I've got to go this way and zigzag around and get into it. That's really what I love.
We do with the same thing on Millwood, because we have to constantly look at the water level. We got to know exactly what it is. When it gets in the bushes, we know it's going to be good. When it gets you know, just depends on the conditions. But while we're on this conversation on public land, there's a question I've been wanting to ask someone on the show that I haven't asked yet. So I think with your background in public hunting, I think you'd be a good one to ask. And so, you know, Brian and I, as you're going through and you're hunting public land, we always talk about the problems of hunting public and what are the biggest problems. And this may be somewhat of a controversial take, but it's conversation.
Now, he told me earlier, nothing controversial. Okay. So don't get me in trouble here.
But this is a conversation we've had a lot. And one of the things that we've seen on our public land is the impact that mud motors have had on it. And so if you just take Millwood, for example, over the years, we started hunting. You were running an outboard and you were having to push your way through things to get to a hole
Or walk.
or walk. Yeah. And ducks had pockets and places that they could sit and they could rest on that public land. And now, with the invention of mud motors, they're awesome. They're the greatest invention in one way because they allow us to get to places we couldn't have gotten to before. But they've also decreased the ability of those ducks to be able to sit in those little pockets. They have nowhere they can hide now. And so I've talked to some private landowners around the area, and they say, well, the weekend before season, our duck population numbers triple because everybody runs them off of Millwood, And so that's probably what I see as one of our biggest problems. But what do you see as a problem in public duck hunting?
Well, all right. Let me get on my old man soapbox.
Okay.
It's a touchy subject.
It is, and I think mud motors are some of the it's one of the best inventions that has helped our hunting behavior in a long time. I mean, it allows people to get places they've never been able to get before. To me, this is just me, man. I'm just going to tell you what I see. I think the problem that's bigger than mud motors and the problem that's bigger than, the amount of people that are out there doing it is there's no mentor program. All right. And what I mean by mentor program is no one is teaching younger hunters, people a lot younger than me, how to hunt, how to scout, and how to go into an area.
Yep.
I don't have a problem with mud motors. I think mud motors are very beneficial.
Right.
Do I think they run ducks off? Yes, I do. But do I think that if you had a mud motor and you stayed 500 or 1,000 yards out of where feeding ducks are you going to run them off? I don't think so. Do you park that boat and get out and walk to that area instead of riding up in there? Would that be a better way of scouting and a better way of doing? I believe so. I believe that if someone, just like what happened to me in the early 90s when I started hunting the White River, a gentleman took me under his wing and said, hey, man, this is how you get around. This is how you go in here. This is when you can hunt this spot. This is when you can't hunt this spot. I think a mentorship program that goes in and teaches people about areas or teaches people about how to scout or how to get around would be way more beneficial to all of us. And in case, for instance, I'll tell you on the refuge over there, there's several oxbow lakes just scattered through those woods. And they're great because we always have water. So you can have a low river water year where you don't have water in the woods, but you'll have water in the oxbow lakes. And if you know what you're doing and you're working with another group that's hunting it, there's one over there in particular that somebody try to get the directions without giving it away. But let's just say you can hunt on the north end of it and you can hunt on the south end of it. You can have two groups hunting at the same time and they can both be successful and they can both kill ducks and have a good time. But this past year, we had some new people show up over there that's never hunted it before. And in between that north end and that south end, there's a point, and it looks like, hey, there's plenty of room. I can set up in here. Well, the problem is if you set up in there, you shut the entire lake down because the ducks don't react if there's something there and there's something north and there's something south. They can't get comfortable. They can't work to anybody. So by being in that spot, you've shut the entire lake down. Whereas, if somebody would teach people about how to hunt this area and say, look, if there's somebody on the north side and there's somebody on the south side, that's it. That's all the lake can take. Then you kind of get that knowledge and everybody's under the understanding and everybody has a better hunt.
Yeah.
I talked to a guy that hunted there one day and I tried to approach him friendly and say, look, you want to say you can't hunt here, but you're not saying you can't hunt here because you can't be here. You can't hunt here because it's messing up the entire lake. And this is why. It's a hard conversation to have with people. It's a hard conversation with somebody to understand that doesn't know what they're dealing with. So I'm sorry to ramble on, but my thing about mud motors and any kind of motor or anything like that, it's more about knowledge of the area and somebody learning about how it impacts the area that they're in. That's my take on it.
Right. Using it correctly. And my mud motor's as loud as everybody else's. So I don't have a soapbox.
Yeah.
Well, in a lot
Yeah.
of those places up there, the refuge, and a lot of these public places, you can't use mud motors. So there's a lot of that's not going on in some places. But again, it's a subject for another day. But by the way, it is your time to ramble. You ramble as much as you want.
It's all right. I'll try not to. I will say, we're 4 a.m. rule, where I hunt, and I'm telling you, those first 2 or 3 weeks of season, and everybody's fired up and everybody's happy and excited, and my camp actually sits on kind of the refuge sits 100. I'm 100 yards from my camp, from my bedroom to the refuge, and there's an oxbow lake. The oxbow lake doesn't have rules on it, so that leading up to 4 a.m. where they try to enter the refuge, I'm pretty sure one of my neighbors down the lake, he drives his mud motor through my bedroom about 1:15 every day. So, if he could ease by me instead of coming by and hitting it a couple times, I would appreciate it. But other than that, they don't bother me.
That's right. Well, look, let's take a short break here on the blind. We've got some great sponsors, and as you can see on your screen throughout the whole show, including Chene Gear. We're going to see a commercial from them here in just a second, but we appreciate our special guest, Jeff Jones, for being with us. We'll be right back after this short break from the Lyle Real Estate Studio right here on the blind. Well, welcome back to the blind. It is Brian Bolton, Garrett Camp. We are here by ourselves momentarily. Jeff taking a little break there, but Garrett,
I might have made him mad or something.
No. You didn't make it. You didn't make him mad. He's taking him a little break there, but so far, Garrett, how do you like the look of the new set we got going on?
Man, I love the look. I'm just excited for season 2. We got so many good guests that we're planning on bringing on. Just an exciting time in the blind. If you're not here, you need to be.
Yeah, if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, we sure do appreciate you for tuning in. If you like the visual version of our show, it is on Facebook and YouTube every episode, and you can go back and find our other episodes as well. And then also, if you want to listen to it as a podcast, it always comes out the day after we debut the show on our podcast sites on Spotify and on Apple Podcast. We got Jeff back there with us. I think we had a little technical difficulty, but that's the good thing about technology is that it doesn't work all the time. But we appreciate you for taking time out of your busy day. And, I don't know, you're such a busy guy, you probably don't even know, but you guys ship something to Garrett and I every week. Like we may be some of your biggest fans. I mean, and me more than Garrett, because Garrett's got more kids than I do, so he can't spend as much, but I try to spend it all. So I didn't order my pants today, but that's the next thing I want to go to. There was a big drop today in the Chene warehouse. Let's talk about that for a little bit.
So we dropped a field pant today. Field pant's a product that we're really proud of. The field pant. I'll say it was when you make a product, whether it is whether it's field pant or the waders or bibs or a new jacket or anything you really want to do, you kind of sit down and you chart out, what are you trying to do? What are you trying to accomplish with this product? And pants are really difficult because you want to make a pant that, the idea is it's not like the Sherpa wader pant. The Sherpa wader pant, it fits one need. It is to provide inside the wader. can wear it, and I want to wear it in spring, and I want to, can I wear it in the wintertime? And I don't want to get hot, and I want it to be comfortable, and I want it to stretch, and I need good pockets. So you kind of see it just adds up. You just more and more and more and more when you try to build a pant like that. And so you chart out all these problems and all these issues and all these things you're trying to accomplish, and you do your best at it. And we feel like with the pant that we put out today, we accomplished that goal. It has a lot of stretch into it, but it has a lot of durability into it. We borrowed the fabric from the basically the rock climbing, the mountain climbing industry. It's called a climbing fabric. It stretches up and down. It stretches left and right. It's 4-way stretch. It's durable and abrasion resistant, but it's also lightweight. So it kind of covers all those seasons that you could wear it in. We changed some material in the pocket. It doesn't get excessively hot around your waist or around your groin area where it could if we hadn't paid attention to what we were using in the pockets. We made the knees articulated, so it has a little bit of bend to it. And then you go in and you work on, do you want it to be athletic fit? Do you want it to be relaxed fit? You try to get that fit so that it covers all of those areas. And then it's like, do you want a boot cut bottom, or do you want to be able to wear it with shoes, or you want to be able to wear it with both? So you can see it just keeps evolving. All these questions and all these situations you're trying to answer with one pant, and being able to pull that off in a way that it was effective and it met all those needs was really cool. It was really kind of a fun thing to do, honestly. But you got to be a clothing nerd to really appreciate it.
I'm just glad you cleared all that up, because my wife is watching and she asked me yesterday. I said, "Look, the pants dropped." And she said, "Well, what's so special about them?" So I'm glad you cleared that up just for her.
I either cleared it up or I made it so muddy that she just said, "You know what? Get whatever you want. Just stop."
I'll just ship them to Brian's house.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd just be a typical day down here. We feed the UPS man supper every night because he usually stops by here and he'll unload for 5 minutes. But but no, not only the field pant. And I'm looking forward to. I was busy today, so I didn't get a chance to order any, but I am ordering some tomorrow. But got some new waders coming out as well, some new patterns. Let's hit on those for just a little bit because they look really, really good.
Yeah, they do. I am very proud of Tree Stand. I'm very proud of Tree Stand. I hit it earlier. I said I was a 90s model duck hunter, and when you were early 90s model duck hunter, how that Tree Stand came out, and to me that was like the greatest pattern I've ever seen. There's nothing wrong with Bottomland. There's nothing wrong with original Bottomland. Two superbly effective patterns, but for me, Tree Stand just hit different. It's Bottomland. It has that limb in it. It has some leaves in it. And the cool thing about Tree Stand, where again you kind of got to be a clothing nerd and kind of evolved in this. But honestly, I would challenge anybody, take a piece of Bottomland and set it in front of you, and take a piece of Tree Stand and set it in front of you. And the difference is, with Bottomland, you can look at it. You can focus in on one spot, and you can kind of pick it out, and you can see it. Tree Stand, your eye will not let you focus on one spot. There's too much going on. There's too many different things, and your eye is just constantly moving. And to me, I'm not a know-it-all waterfowl biologist or scientist or anything like that, but to me, that is really cool. It really is. The fact that you can't just sit and pick something exactly out about it, I think is a cool thing about it.
It's a flat piece of material. It's a flat piece of material, but it gives you that 3D look.
It is. It does. There's a lot going on in the pattern.
Yeah. And so not only the Tree Stand, but you got a new solid color pattern coming out. I guess you would call it a color since it's not technically a pattern. So.
Yeah, I got in trouble today for calling it a pattern. I didn't mean to. Whatever. It's a color. That's right. It's a color, brown color. Really cool. Blends in really well. It's an earth tone color. Sits in the shade well, sits in the sun well. It's a dark brown tropical. And that's one thing we always want to do at Chene is every year we want to release a new solid color. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel. We're not trying to do anything outside of the normal. We're just trying to do something cool. Here's a cool solid color. There's a lot of people that like to wear solid colors. And what we're going to do, we're going to introduce another option. That's what we want to do.
Can you still hear us?
Nope.
All right, there you go. I got you
I can
now.
hear you. Yep.
Yeah, we lost you for, I mean, just about 2 or 3 seconds there. But yeah, the brown is a really good color. Now, of course, I told you I wasn't going to say anything controversial, but I'm going to put you on the spot here. So don't hang up on us. Right. Will you put the olive back out again?
Oh, man, you could never say never.
There's a lot of people that love that color.
I want an olive pair so bad, and I don't have any. I've owned every other pattern or color that you've had at one time or not. And
he might order them and send them back before season and try on another pair, wear them out of season. I don't know what he does with them. He might just wear them around the house and then send them back and get a new pair. Or I don't know what he does with them.
It's like you tell everybody, it's hard to keep reimagining the color wheel. So I'm sure before long that olive color is going to come back available again.
We'll just take that sound clip, just the olive color will come back.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, we're all going to be waiting on it.
Yeah. Take it completely out of context.
Well, look, I know you've got, you guys got a lot of products that are about to drop in July. And I know that you've shown some of them, maybe all of them. I don't know at some of the shows you've done so far through the spring and on even into the summer, but what are some of the products that you can talk with us about tonight? Just kind of a quick overview of them, of what's coming or at least what you can tell right now.
Sure. We showed everything at NWTF. That's kind of our coming out party in February every year. If you come to that show, you're going to get a chance to see everything. So everything's kind of really out there. Without going too deep into detail, we have a new bib coming out, field bib. Really excited about it. It solves a lot of problems. After the field bib, we have a windproof, water-resistant pullover coming out. We have a Primaloft jacket coming out. The Primaloft jacket, I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, me too.
It solves a lot of problems, and it's really been a challenge to get that garment to do what we wanted it to do. We have a Primaloft vest coming out. It's going to go backwards to where vest originally came from, a layering piece. So it's supposed to be worn closer to the body, where you'd wear it up underneath something instead of an outer. So that's going to be fun to try to explain and try to teach everybody about kind of the history of vest and how they were originally intended to be worn. That's a really cool product. Then we have, after that, we have another jacket coming out. Then we have the bibs that dropped, or the field pant that dropped today. We have a bonded fleece field pant that's going to come out later. That takes the field pant that we have now and adds a layer of bonded fleece inside it. So it gets it really warm and really water resistant, really windproof. Then there are a couple styles of bags coming out. There's a gun case coming out. I think that might be everything that's coming out this year. I apologize. I kind of stay in my life and in my work and what I do. By the time it's out to the public, I've been looking at it for a couple years, and I've moved on to other things that we're trying to get. Because the one thing that we want to do at Chene is we spend 2 years developing an item. That's it. Me and my team are going to play with it for a year, and then we're going to put it out to our development team for a year, and then it's going to come out to the public if it makes its way through all those tranches. So sometimes I forget to talk about something that's really cool and it's coming out to the public this year because I've slipped and I've moved on to something else. But I believe that's the entire product line that's coming out. There's some add-on colors. There's another merino piece that's coming out, which if you know, please people don't sleep on merino. It's probably some of the greatest fabric and in use products that are made. That merino is really special. Um, and then we have a few other little things that we kind of add into as the season goes on.
Well, there's two things that I want to know. First off, being the
Okay.
Primaloft jacket. Is it coming
Yeah.
in patterns, or will you have a solid
Yes.
color?
Both
Both.
patterns and solid colors. Yep.
Perfect.
Yep.
Sign me
And
up. Sign
I'll
me up.
I'll just tell you because I'm really excited about the Primaloft jacket. It's something that honestly, the Primaloft jacket is something that I've been wearing basically since day one. This has always kind of been, it really is a passion project of mine. I would like to make a garment. I mean, this is not NASA level space stuff, but I mean, it's above other, it's just a better garment. And my idea of what I want to do is just kind of different. I would like to build a garment that helps regulate your body temperature. And what I mean by that is we're all in that, we've all been in that situation where you get dressed up in the morning, you go out, you're putting out decoys, whether you're a boat, or you got to ride the boat in or four wheeler in, or you got to load the four wheeler or load the boat. You get hot, you got to take something off. You get cold, you got to put something on. When you get back to the camp, you've taken your waders off, you've gone inside the camp, you've got to take your jacket off. My idea and thought was, man, how awesome would it be to be able to build a product that regulated your body temperature, that once you put it on, it was on.
Yeah.
And you didn't notice temperature changes. And you didn't notice that you had hunted all morning and you had came back to the camp and you had cooked breakfast and you had eaten breakfast and you were hanging out and you were still wearing your coat. So to me, that has always kind of in the back of my mind and in the forefront been a challenge and something that I wanted to take on and that we wanted to take on and see if it could be done. And that Primaloft jacket is the absolute closest we have ever come to being able to do that. I see it all the time, or I saw it all the time during season and the season before. People unknowingly didn't even know what they were doing, which they wouldn't because they don't live in that world. They don't think about it. But I would see them hunt in it, come in, take their waders and stuff off, come inside the camp, and an hour later they still had it on, or 2 hours later they still had it on. Or somebody comes into the office, it's been cold outside, they were wearing it, but they've been inside the office doing stuff for 2 hours. And I didn't say anything to them. I'm just watching, just seeing at what point in time they make this change, and they didn't. But they also didn't complain about being hot or cold. So to me, that was a step. That was a giant leap of, hey, we're getting somewhere with this idea of what we want to do with this garment. Does this one do it 100%? I don't know, but I'm telling you, generations of it, it's going to get there. And right now, it's as close to that as possible. It is a really, and honestly, I don't know if it's witchcraft that's going on or what, but it is a really cool jacket, and it does some awesome things.
Well, I'm definitely excited about it. And then, I mentioned that I had two things. The second thing that I had was, you mentioned this team that you have when you develop stuff and, you get it out for people to kind of test it in the field and stuff. If you ever need somebody in Southwest Arkansas, there's, I got two guys that we can test it at Millwood and kind of give you that hometown. It's kind of
have our
hometown feel.
addresses. Y'all have our addresses saved. The UPS guy knows where to go.
Yeah, we could test it back. Look, I think he cut his mic off
on purpose, I'm sure.
No, I'm still here. I'm still promise still here. Listen, I love it. The best thing about the product team, and just frankly speaking, got people for the product team that no matter what, at the end of the day, will be 100% truthful. You don't want them to be just fans of the brand or fans of what you're doing. You want it to be people that will come in, take a garment off, and throw it at your feet and say, "This thing sucks. This sucks," and this is why. And then you can kind of go through it, and you can fix, and you can develop and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Good product people, it's hard to find people that will just give you that brutal, honest feedback.
Mhm.
That's what you want. You've got to have someone telling you that your product or your idea or what you're trying to do failed in this spot, and this is what you should do to fix it. That honestly, for the product team, that's what you want. You want people that are unabashedly opinionated, but have knowledge of what they're doing, or are willing to learn and understand what they're doing. I mean, some things just can't be done, but some things can.
That's right. Well, look, let's take one more short break here. We're going to show some love to some of our sponsors. When we come back, Jeff, we're going to talk about the drop date coming up real soon, next month in July. And then we're also going to talk a little bit about the festival that y'all have coming up. So
yeah, Film Fest.
That's right. So let's take a short break, Cam, and we'll be right back with more from Mr. Jeff Jones right here on The Blind. Welcome back to The Blind. It is our season 2, episode 1. We've got Mr. Jeff Jones here from Chene Gear. We appreciate you for tuning in here on the Lyle Real Estate Studio, and we appreciate Jeff for taking time out of his Thursday to be with us to talk a little bit about Chene, a brand that we enjoy so very much, and they just keep putting out good stuff. As soon as there's less and less, they come out with more and more. So we appreciate you, and our wives probably do not. But no, actually, speaking of that, my wife, I got in the Scout boot right on the drop day. I ordered some, got them in really quick. And of course, that's something we talk about all the time is the customer service. And people probably get tired of hearing us talk about it because unless you experience it, you really just don't know. But your wife and Morgan just do a great job with all of that. And I know they've got a team up there of other people, but man, they do such a good job. But I got the Scout boot in and my wife said, "I want some." And I said, "Really?" She said, "Oh yeah, I want some." So I had to order her a pair. So we got 2 pairs over here.
I think she said they were cute.
Yeah, she said they were cute. So she wanted some.
Yeah, I got some stuff. They'll work for them. Jesse wears some. My daughters wear them. We live out in we live in a bottom. The river's right behind my house, kind of like my parents. I have a river right behind my house. There's actually a duck club right behind my head. I mean, I can see their roof most of the time where we live. So it's kind of cool to watch them hunt early in the mornings. If I've got to take the kids to school and we'll get up and load it, I can hear them shoot and watch them hunt and all that. So it's kind of cool. But anyway, what I'm getting to the point is it's very wet where I live. My house, once we start getting rain, it's over with. We had to concrete a walkway to the dog kennel just so we could feed it. But everybody at this house at some point in time has got Scout boots on and walking around and doing stuff. So they're really it's a boot that anybody can wear, women, kids, men, everybody like that. So it's really like Scout boots. Scout boots is a good product.
Yeah. Speaking of dogs, the last time we saw you, I think you had a litter of puppies, didn't you? Didn't you have a bunch of puppies the last time we saw you?
We did. We sure did. We did. So a year ago, Memorial Day, Nola, which is my dog, which is the dog at the shop all the time. If anybody comes up there, Nola's going to greet them. She's there with us every day. She had puppies. We bred Nola to Jeff Farmer's dog, my partner in the business. One partner's in the business, one of the owners. Uh, his dog Gus, and it really was a tremendous breeding. It really was. Gus is a very hard charging, very energetic, very driven male dog. Nola is a very calm, very social, but also well driven dog herself. So we bred these dogs together. You kind of get this thing like, I'm going to breed this high running, high charging dog to this low, not as hard charging dog, but still very birdy dog. And man, we have some great puppies. In fact, she had 10 puppies, and five of the puppies ended up at Adam Campbell, who's a trainer in Alabama. Through whoever got the dogs, they ended up over there. So I talked to Adam about these puppies all the time. And then we kept a puppy, which we'll talk about for Film Fest. He has that puppy also. And then I have a couple other trainers that ended up getting dogs. So I'm always kind of engaged in talking to these trainers that have the puppies, and they're like, "Hey, are you going to breed them again? Are you going to breed her again? Are you going to breed them again?" So really, and being a guy that has a dog, and when you hear that about the puppies, it's kind of like people talking about your kids. You're really excited, and you love to hear good things about them. So they're good dogs. I don't know. It's probably like further than we should have gone with that, but they're good dogs.
No, hey, that's what we're here for. To talk about ducks and dogs and camo and cute scout boots, like our wives say. So
that's all right.
But
yeah, I've always been a black lab guy. I've always had female black labs. I love them. I really do. And Nola, she's she's a good one, man. She's a good dog. Gosh,
great. Let's talk about the drop date. July 13th, is that right?
Yeah, 13th. We try to keep it around that. Our initial drop was on the 14th. Last year it was on the 14th. This year, that Thursday is July 13th. That Thursday is a really good time for us. So we're going to July 13th this year. And drop this year will be the waders, the new color waders. It will be the bibs. It will be let's see what else. I think a couple of the bags will come out that day. The pants are already out. I believe it is a really cool product I didn't say earlier. I'm gonna make everybody wait and see what it is. But it's made.
He had me on the edge of my seat.
I know. I'll give you this. It's made out of wax, and you can wear it.
I think I know where we're going.
Yeah, it's really cool. It'll come out on launch day. It'll come out on the 13th. All the new colors of the vests that we've had out, they'll be available. New colors in the over and under, new colors in the Hydrolock. All that will be available. And then there's going to be some additional scattered launches afterwards. One following up the very next week that I'm super pumped about. I mean, as a dad with 3 kids, I am super pumped about the week after launch.
Not dropping any hints, just
excited. Just super excited as a dad of 3 kids.
Yeah. That's right.
Of varying ages. I am really excited about what that program is going to do, and what it's going to do for parents, and what it's going to do for kids, and all that. I'm very, very excited about that.
Well, that's exciting, especially as a parent with. I've got a little boy. Brian's got a little boy. Brian's little boy was at my house swimming today, and I told his wife, I said, all we need is some baby shin. We just need some baby shin.
Some baby shin, yeah.
Some baby shin.
That's right. But not only is the drop date coming soon, there's a really, really cool thing coming up in, I believe, October. Is that right? Is that when the festival is?
Yeah. October.
So let's chat about that.
Yeah, what was the idea for that?
The initial idea, honestly, is giving back. That's 100% where it came from. We felt like, this was an opportunity for Shen to give back to our customers, and not only our customers, like any waterfowler. I don't care whose brand you wear, whose product you love most. If you don't like the product at all, if you're a waterfowler, Film Festival is for you. It is our opportunity to give a free event to people to come spend the day in Memphis, come spend the evening, watch a bunch of killer, awesome footage, uh, and see films, be able to see other brands and all that. So what we're doing is, and the idea has just grown and just morphed and morphed and morphed and got bigger and bigger and bigger. It's a huge thing now. So on October 21st, we have the Botanical Gardens rented out. And if you don't know anything about the Botanical Gardens, it's a place where they have really intimate concerts. It's an outdoor setting. There's a giant stage. We have a huge screen coming in. There's a lawn in front of that, and it kind of goes back to some beautiful oak trees. And it is a free admission film festival. We have 6 filmmakers who have made films. They're anywhere from, I think, 12 to, they're in there like that 10 to 15, maybe 20-minute long video series of films. We're going to introduce the videographer that made the film. We're going to introduce them. We're going to watch their film. There may be a chance for some Q&A with that videographer. Then we're going to show the next one. And then we're going to kind of repeat this process all through it until we watch all 6 films. There's some musicians coming in to provide live music. There is a ton of food trucks so that you can get food to eat. There is some we're going to have some large tents where we have buffet style meals that you can purchase a ticket and go through the buffet and get the meal there. Or if you want to, we're going to have an area right in front of the stage where if your business or just a bunch of individuals want to get together and you want to have a table, you can buy a table for the event. It's an 8-seat table. That table gets a free pair of waiters. There will be some drinks for the table. The table is $2,500 if you want to buy a table for 8 people, be able to come in there, sit down, have free meals, get a pair of waiters, 1 waiter per table, and then drinks and all that. If you just want to come to the event, it's free. It's wide open to you. You can just show up. You can bring a lawn chair. You can sit out in the grass area. You can get food from the food trucks. You can get food from the food tent that we have, and you can watch these films. That is our idea. And also, there's always more. We have some partners that are coming. Rolling Thunder's coming. Makers Call Company's coming. I shouldn't even start it. Apex is coming. Boss is coming. I shouldn't have started trying to name all the brands that are coming. There's a ton of brands coming. Yeah, y'all are coming. There's a lot of vendors coming that will be able to have tent space to show their goods and stuff like that. If you come early enough in the day, there's probably going to be a game on the screen that you can watch. So there's a lot going on. But the whole idea, it's back to watching these 6 films. You're going to watch a film, then you're going to watch another one, all this, and then you're going to vote. And you're going to vote for the film that you liked most. And we have it set up kind of like that American Idol would do. You'll text this number and you'll say film 3 or however that works. We're going to tally up those votes at the end of it, and we're going to present that videographer or filmmaker with a prize for doing it. And, to us, this is a really cool thing. It's a really cool way to give back. I have purposely not watched the films. I don't want to see them. I want to see them just like everybody else does that night. I kind of know what some of them are about. And, man, there's a couple tear jerkers in there. There's an educational one in there, and then there's some facts and stuff that you're going to learn, and then there's just some really cool hunting videos to watch. So that's super awesome. Excited about Film Festival.
Cool. That's a cool concept.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody's ever done this before, if any brand has or done anything like this. I know I've never attended anything to this magnitude or anything where it was like films giving back and all that. If someone's done it before, hats off to them. I don't know of it. nothing I can think of. And I'm very proud of us for doing this. This is
Yeah.
it is a huge undertaking and a big expense, but you know what? We're very happy to do it. And
Yeah.
you know, and in the future, the idea is to be able to move this thing around and show it. So this is something that it won't go away. We're going to keep doing it for a long time.
That's awesome. If you want to find out more information about the film festival, you can always go over to chenegear.com. I know there's a big tab there. We just looked at it a couple of days ago. And so you can go over there. You can purchase tickets there and find out any information that you want to at chenegear.com. But look, Mr. Jeff, we're going to take one more, I promise, our short break here on the blind. And when we come back, we're going to put you on the hot seat. We got a couple questions for you.
Okay.
They're just about hunting, not going to put you too much in the deep water, but we got some questions we're going to run through, kind of a speed round, and just a couple so people can find out what are some of your favorite things about hunting. So we're going to take a break. We'll be right back here on the blind with our final flight.
Okay, all right.
Welcome back to the blind. That Dirty Duck coffee got me smelling the aroma through the commercial. I look like I need a little bit of that. But, well, look, we're back here for what we like to call the final flight, our final segment of the night. We have really, really enjoyed Mr. Jeff Jones from Chene Gear being here with us. But, Jeff, we want to run through some questions so people can find out a little more about you, even though we haven't asked some of these already. But we've got some for you. So I've got a couple here for you. And we'll just kind of scroll through these pretty quick, okay? So, first question. What's your favorite duck?
Oh, mallard. Well,
mallard. Mallard's king.
Yeah,
Mallard
I mean,
he said mallard
I'll
here.
take a mallard day. I say mallard day in and day out, all day long. My favorite, to look at and to see, because we don't ever get them. I've shot 2 in my life as a black duck.
Yeah.
And then
that's a bucket list duck for me.
Yeah, and then after that is like a pintail. We hardly ever get pintails in the woods.
Yeah,
I think they're absolutely beautiful. It's a great duck. But day in and day out, I'll take a mallard drake over anything.
Absolutely, I agree with you. Favorite duck call? Doesn't have to be a brand, just maybe type. Don't want to put you in a bind with anybody if you name some off the wall brand.
No, I wouldn't do it. I'm an old school. It's sitting right here. I have a PS Ult that I've had for ages. Day in and day out, an Ult will do it. There's a lot of great calls, a lot of great calls out there. You could sit here all day long and they call companies and different things that they're doing. Last year, I started blowing a Maker's Call company, a Maker's Monarch. I really like that call. I like their calls. Rich, I mean, I can do this all day long. Rich and I like their calls. I'm a duck caller since I was a kid. I love it. But day in and day out, the one thing that's always been constant with me is it sits right here. And I will officially go on record and I will argue with any old duck call blower in the world. This is the right way. if Jesus came back tomorrow with a duck collar around his neck, he would have his ult like this. He would not have it turned around.
I'm
I
not going to
said it.
argue with you.
I said it, and I don't care what they say.
He said it any minute.
That's right. Any minute. And he brought Jesus into it. So it's got to be serious. It's got to be the real deal. Well, I think I know the answer to your question here, but rice field or timber?
Oh, timber.
Yeah. There's not many people that choose rice field, but every now and then you find somebody that, just doesn't know the right way. So.
Hey, look, man, I have nothing against rice field hunters and all that. I think it's fun, and there's camaraderie. You're out there with all your buddies and in a pit and all that. But man, I'm gonna get in so much trouble for saying this. I shouldn't even say it. I'm going to the woods, or almost I'm gonna make leaves. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna hunt the woods.
That's right. That's right. Well, I have to agree with you on that one as well. So. Favorite pattern of camo?
Well, tree stand, absolutely tree stand, followed by bottomland. I do not think tree stand and bottomland can be beat. No matter where you go in the world, from Canada to Mexico, anywhere, you will not find something that blends better than bottomland.
I'm so glad to hear that, because my whole closet is bottomland.
Yeah.
And I want it to continue to be bottomland, so I need Chene to keep making things in bottomland.
Don't you worry.
Oh, I don't think. Yeah, I don't think. I think there's a lot of bigger things to worry about than Chene not making bottomland.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, we were trying to trip you up a little bit there, because we not really, but we were hoping you'd say some other pattern that maybe wasn't out yet, and we'd be like, yep, that's the next one. We got him. We almost got Field to trip up that one time. So Field almost told us what the pattern was, but he didn't. He kept it. But well, look, we appreciate it. We won't get into some of these other questions. They're a little controversial. We're gonna ask you if you want to, if you like coffee or beer in the duck blind, or if you like, different stuff like that. But we'll just leave everything at that. But we appreciate you for taking the time. We really do.
Yeah, man, I enjoyed it. I really did. Anytime I can come back on or do anything for y'all let me know. I appreciate it. I really do.
We really appreciate you. We appreciate, I guess just from us being able to talk to you, we appreciate what you guys are doing. I mean, you're putting out quality products, and you're doing it. It's products put out for duck hunters by duck hunters. I mean, and you can tell when we buy something and we wear it, we're like, man, why didn't we come up with this? I mean, this is exactly what we need. This is how we would have done it if we were doing it, which we don't have the mindset to think of it like you guys do. But I mean, we love the gear, and that's one reason why we push it, so much, is because we truly believe in the brand and the gear, and we want everybody else to experience that with us. So
yeah, and it's not just the way, it's just not what you're doing, it's the way that you're doing it.
That's right.
Customer service, we talked about a little bit. And from Brian and I, y'all guys have been so good to us. I can't say enough good things about everybody at Chene.
Well, thank you very much. That's a big thing. We're honestly, it's 100% authentic. We're making the products that we want to wear, that we want to hunt in, and we feel like waterfowlers need, and then we're standing behind them, and then we're offering customer service. That at the end of the day, that's the one thing that no one can take from us. Somebody could come out and they could make their version of the same wader, they could make their version of the same products, they can do all of that stuff, but they can't take customer service away. They can't take the sincere customer service that Morgan brings to the table, that my wife brings to the table, that Carter, that Byron, that Dylan, that Field, that Jeff Farmer, that John Strange, that myself, that May Walker brings, that every single person at Chene brings. It's customer first. What do we have to do to take care of the customer? That's what we're going to do.
Well, and I definitely don't want to put them on the spot, because, I assume this happens a lot, and it definitely wasn't because of me, but I called at 4:50 one day and had ordered 5 pairs of the Scout boots for one for my wife, and then for my stepdad and my dad, and for Father's Day. And and then right after I ordered them, I thought, man, I don't know if I'm going to get them by Father's Day. And this was on a Thursday afternoon at 4:50. I pick up the phone and call at a couple minutes after 5. So you got some good employees because they were still there working. Byron and Carter were there. They answered the phone and they looked my order up and said, man, UPS is already run, but I tell you what, we're going to box these up and take them to UPS for you. I ordered them at 4:50 on Thursday. They were at my house before noon on Friday from Memphis to Texarkana.
That's awesome to know. You want to hear those good things, and man, I'll tell you, it's 100% truthful. You told me to get on this call at 6:50. I was late coming home. I probably didn't get home till 5:15, probably 5:30 or later. And Jesse is sitting at the kitchen table answering emails and calling customers back because that's when she could get them on the phone. We sat there and I had a beer and Jesse had something, I don't know what it was, and we were eating chips and salsa, and she was calling customers, and I was getting ready to go do a podcast. And it's like that every day. I posted a picture on my Instagram last year, right before Christmas, of Jesse sitting at our kitchen table and my 8-year-old, the youngest daughter, sitting there, both writing thank you notes. And we do this, the whole team does this every day. Yeah. Every day. It's just authentic. We want to take care of the customers. We want to provide for them. We just want to do business the way that business should be done. You should be able to get a person on the phone. If not, that person calls you back within a certain period of time and takes care of you. That's the way that my grandparents did business. That's the way that my parents were. That's how it should be. Mm-hmm. And that's what we want to do. That's the heart and soul of everybody at Chene is, let's do right.
Well, we sure do appreciate it. And we tell everybody that we come across, because people ask us all the time. And I mean, it's true. I mean, you hear a lot of people that say it, or one person has an experience, and it doesn't work that way for everybody. But everybody that has an experience with you guys says the same thing. And so I just want you to know it is appreciated. We appreciate you, and we're going to tell people as long as they'll listen to us. And not only do we appreciate what you do with the brand, we appreciate you taking time away from your family to be with us tonight. And we look forward to having you back on again.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jim.
And we also look forward to seeing you here in July.
Yeah.
So we're going to come up. We're going to come up, probably not that Thursday for the launch or whatnot, but Friday, we'll try to get up there and see you guys, and maybe you can get Field Norris to do some work between now and then.
We'll try.
Well, look, we appreciate you. Season 2, episode 1. We appreciate Mr. Jeff Jones from Chene Gear coming in to the blind. We're going to wrap it up here. Cam's going to play some videos to take us out. If you want more information, or you heard about a product that you want more information on, or you want to go and buy it, the Field Pant just came out. The Scout Boot not long ago. They've got a what's the other boot? The hip waiter or that came out.
Oh, the Slew Boot.
The Slew Boot. I don't have a pair of those yet either, but the Slew Boot just came out. Tons of stuff. Go over to chenegear.com. Check them out. Fill your basket up. It'll be to your doorstep within a day or two. Trust me. It happens all the time. I can tell you for a fact. Best customer service in the country. And then also be on the lookout July the 13th for the drop of some of the new gear, followed by a couple more drop dates throughout the summer and fall. Well, you heard it here. It may have not been first, but you heard it here tonight. chenegear.com is where it needs to be, and go over and check them out. Mr. Jeff, we sure appreciate you.
Thank you, guys.
Good talking to you, Jeff.
Good talking
We'll
to you.
see you next time. Season 2, episode 2, coming up in 2 weeks. We won't be back next week. We're going to take a week off, take a little vacation. We'll see you on episode 2 in 2 weeks right here on The Blind.
Thank you.